I said to you earlier, I find difficulty in thinking that I'm going to see my son, obviously, in a long time, but I have to be realistic. These people have no intention of letting me educate my son in any way, because they fear that my education would open his mind to things, will make him realize who the people around him really are.
I don't want to get too personal or anything, but you said earlier on, you said that you're a kid. I don't even want to mention it. I don't want to mention it on air. It's a kid. Is special or a chosen kid in some way? Can you elaborate on that a little bit? The bloodlines.
Yes. For many years, I had been a student of alchemy, as you know, in the Illuminati. In my research of the so-called Holy Grail, I discovered the importance of the bloodlines. I studied very much the importance of the bloodlines. I worked magically to achieve this child because I thought that this child could really be the beginning of a new era for a true dialogue between the parts at war. Okay? There is a war, obviously, there is a clash of civilizations. Somebody had to do something. My kid was actually born on the 7th of July 2006, 1 year after the bombings of London. It's no coincidence that this happened in a way, because nothing is a coincidence in the eyes of God, and I survived that attack miraculously because I was there just a few days before, 5 days before, in Edgware Road. I lived around the corner, and I used to take the Dutch Underground to go in the morning.
Yeah.
So, like it happened to me, but it happened also to my best friend, another Freemason, which works though with me undercover in Freemasonry, so I can still have a bit of information from what is going on. He saved himself also miraculously because the alarm didn't go on. So that was also another miracle. But there was also some very important meetings that week in London that happened just before the 7th of July attack. There was a very important meeting in the Landmark Hotel in London, a very important meeting which there were various Masons.
This is prior to 7/7 or on the day of 7/7?
Prior to 7/7, just a week before.
Because no one ever told me why, the New York mayor was in London on 7/7 and Benjamin Netanyahu were in London in 7/7. It's been mentioned in the movement, but I haven't really explained why were these people in London on 7/7, Leo, in your opinion?
7/7 is a magical number. It's an important number. It symbolizes something important. 777, Babylon. It's a very important part of the workings of this whole alchemical process. Because it is, in the eyes of the Illuminati, the people who force this reality upon us, it is simply a matter of transforming by acts of terror sometimes the human conscious. And I prayed very much that day after the bombings. I was actually in near Rome, near the monasteries of Subiaco, very important area for Christianity, and I prayed very much that God will send me a sign, a possibility to bring peace to this world. So when after my prayers and after a meeting which actually was held in London in I think it was the 29th of September, if I don't get it wrong, 2005, yes. 29th of September, basically this meeting was in near the MI6 headquarters in London, in a semi-abandoned church nearby, just across the river there in Vauxhall. When you get there and you go on the right, you will find this church. And in this church we had a Masonic High Council meeting in which Freemasons from the Middle East participated also. And certain things were said and certain things were discussed in that meeting. There was also Klaus Schmidt, the head of the Albanian intelligence for the EU. Klaus Schmidt is a very important Freemason also in the United Grand Lodge of Germany, but also in the regular Grand Lodge of England setup of Riga Biro. And so there was Klaus Schmidt, there was some other Khaled Nahabe from Lebanon, a very important Freemason who also works and has a lodge in Dubai, and several other people. And after that, my wife who was with me and I enjoyed London so much that we managed to have a kid out of it. And that kid was born, as I said, on the 7th of July of 2006. And basically, that before that he was born, the sister of my wife, who is a Sufi, had a dream that on that day something very important will happen. And also another Sufi master called Mohammed Nazim Al-Khani, who is the head of the Naqshbandi order, said that something very important was happening in that period of time. And the birth of my child signified definitely something very important for me, but also for the family, I guess, both my family and her family, and the possibility of a dialogue between people who had been at war for many centuries, because my family, as you know, has been in charge of the Knights of Malta, of Knights Templars, of
Crusades and against the Muslims and whatever. Yeah, okay, I understand.
And fought, actually stopped the Ottoman Empire, the Knights of Malta. Otherwise, Europe would be a very different place. Absolutely. So basically, it was an opportunity of dialogue, and that was also reiterated and mentioned by another friend of ours, who is Katerina Vedralovic, which is the daughter of the wife of Rauf Boutros-Ghali, and who is in charge.
The head of the UN, Boutros-Ghali.
That's his brother, Boutros. Okay. And basically, he is in charge of the tourism down in Egypt, which is very important. And he is also, the Boutros-Ghali family is very important because it's in charge of the Coptic Church. And in the Coptic Church, I searched for my exorcism when I was cursed by this black Illuminati, when I first started to rebel against, especially the American branch of the Illuminati, and their occult rituals, and that happened in 2003. In September 2003, and I was arrested even then, because I was rebelling basically in a way to the system, but obviously because I was still in the system, they gave me a possibility to come out, go to Egypt, chill out, have a good time, and find really a bit more about my research. In my research, certain things were very important for my work, in my alchemical work. And so I went to very holy places and celebrated very holy rituals, like the tomb of St. George in the Coptic area, the only synagogue also is there, which Boutros helped rebuilding. And it is a very particular place. So usually in the daytime you have the tourists, in the nighttime the priests meet up so they can do the rituals.